Welcome back to Moodle Bootcamp. In this section of Moodle Bootcamp, we are going to talk about multimedia, using videos in your class, in your courses, and working with those videos. What's the best way to do that? And I'm going to be showing you several different ways to do that. Before we begin on that, though, I need you to think about some things. We are beginning more and more to work with digital natives, those people that grew up with Google at their hands. They grew up with video games in front of them. They grew up with all of those kind of things. We have to address that issue in our courses, making them more vibrant, making them more moving, making them more picturesque as far as what your students are looking at. Videos is the quickest and easiest way to be able to do that. Now, as you look at these things, you need to think about, what videos do I have at my disposal? There's all kind of videos on YouTube. There's all kind of videos out on the internet. If you are an FHTC employee, the library has an excellent source of videos as far as being able to use them in your course. You can also make your own videos, and that's one of the things that I'm going to be showing you inside this section, is how to use Camtasia as far as doing screenshots. All of the videos that I have made for you guys, that you guys have been watching in these courses, I have made using Camtasia and just doing a screencast of my computer. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. In this process, you need to keep in mind what you're going to do with those videos. You can actually upload them to Moodle and put them in your course via Moodle. The problem with that, number one, is it's going to be harder for your students to open them because they actually have to download the video to look at it. It also takes up a lot of room inside your Moodle server. And so if we can find a way to get around that, we're better to do that. The best way to do that at this point in time is to create your YouTube channel, upload them to YouTube, and then link from YouTube. That way they're just clicking on a button and they're actually watching it through that YouTube server versus watching it through your Moodle server. So we're going to show you how to create that and how to be able to save those videos. So let's go ahead and start off today with embedding a video inside a label. To me, this is the easiest and quickest way to be able to make that attachment. Now, as we're looking at this, as you're looking at the screen that I have up right now, this is my professional development course. This course is heavy into videos just simply because of the makeup of the course. We need to discuss those things that people are going to see as they go out into the world of work. So this first thing that you're looking at is actually a label. And again, if I hold my mouse over it, it turns gray. You see the whole piece of the pie, as we can say. So I have put in a label up at the top as far as this is what this video is going to be, and then I have embedded this video inside the label. That way, as the student is going into this class, they see, oh, learning to listen. This is a video that I'm going to watch at this point in time. So I'm going to show you how to create this embedded video that will draw your students' attention to the course. The videos that you guys have been watching as we've gone through this course, I have done in this fashion. Okay, so let's go down to section 4 because that's what we're going to be working on. It's my next section that I'm adding to my course. So I'm going to come down to section 4. I've added my title of my section. And again, I have that consistency. You'll notice as you go through this course. I've already turned my editing on. If I hadn't, remember, anytime you are adding anything to a course or correcting things, changing things, you always need to turn your editing on. So I have my editing on. I'm going to come down. I am adding something, so I need to go to add an activity or a resource. And remember, our activities are at the top. Those are things that we're going to have students do for us. Our resources are at the bottom. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a label. I click on Add. And I'm going to put a little bit of an explanation as to what it is that I'm adding. So I'm going to come up here. And I have been using heading 2 to start off each one of my sections. So I'm going to change this to a heading 2 so I have consistency through my course. That's my way of saying, guys, we're going to start a new section. And so I'm going to change that to a heading 2, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to say watch the video just to get in the right mindset. And I need to make my correction. So I watch the video just to get into the right mindset, and I'm going to put an exclamation point behind that. I'm going to come down. I'm going to change back to paragraph if it doesn't already. I'm going to change back to paragraph, and I'm going to type in intro paragraph, or intro video, sorry. Okay, and let me make this a little bit larger. So I'm going to enlarge my editing screen so that you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. So here's what I have so far. So now I'm going to highlight intro video. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say create a link. I'm going to go back to my video that I'm working with, and let me pull this over for just a second so you can see it. This is where my video is that I found. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to grab my URL. So I'm going to copy. I'm going to come back over to here and I'm going to paste that into my target area. This is my URL. If you want the video embedded, in other words, you want it to show up inside your course, you need to leave this as open in this window or frame. And this is my customer service, because this section is on customer service. So this is my customer service introduction video. Now the purpose of what I typed in here is if someone is using a screen reader, in other words, they are visually impaired and using a screen reader, this is what pops up on their screen reader that tells them what's going to be happening. So I'm going to insert this into my course. You'll notice that the font became purple. Let me enlarge that just a little bit so that you can see it better. You'll notice that my font is purple. That's telling me that that's a link. Now, right now this is an embedded link. If you want it just to show up as a link, in other words, you don't want to have the embed, you don't want them to be able to see that video as they look at your course. If you change this font to black, then it's going to show up just as a link that they're going to have to click on, and then it will open. I want mine to stay embedded. I also want this in the middle of the screen so it shows up a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and center that video. I shrink this back down. Let's go through the rest of our setting. If you want to hide it for right now, in other words, I don't want my students to be able to see it yet, I can hide it. I can restrict access, and we've talked about most of these before. I can tell them I want this completed before they can see this video. I'm not going to put any restrictions as far as access on that for right now. As far as activity completion, the only thing you can do with a label is either do not mark completion. Remember the activity completion is the little X's out to the side. It can say you can say you don't want it to be marked, or students can manually mark. In my opinion, and a lot of people like students to be able to mark them, in my opinion that's a waste of time. They can go through and mark everything and it really is not giving them a lot of good information. So on my labels I always say do not indicate activity completion. Then I'm going to go in and go save and return to course. And let me go back out just a little bit so you can see this a little bit better. I'm going to come down, and you will now notice that I have my heading. It's telling the students what it's going to do. I have my video. If I click on the video is going to go ahead and start, and they're going to be able to see that video. If the student wants to, I don't like looking at this little bitty screen. They have all the YouTube functionalities that they had if they went directly into YouTube. That completes my video.